Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Propagandacast, Shadowverse. The cards potentially have hearts. Off here to another episode in this newly started series, and I think, get on with the topic here rather than just sort of randomly talk about things. In this case, I think, about, something a lot of newcomers, I always see them talking about, asking questions of what do I do first? What do I do first? I mean, after, for example, the first thing you should do is basically sort of grab the stuff you got in your crate. Usually there'll be a lot of stuff here, when you actually join the game. You open up that, then you open your packs, which you can do over here in the shop. By the way, you have to go to the shop, specifically buy packs, and then you'll basically sort of get tickets for the card packs here. Then you sort of buy them. I'm guessing that sort of insinuate the more, you actually kind of want to buy them via your gold or your crystals, which by the way you buy for money. That's basically sort of how, sort of get to buy stuff. But beyond that, what do you do then? You say you open all your packs. They've also got pre-built decks. Start out cheap, but then they quickly become expensive, by the way. Haven't bothered using myself. But in theory, if you don't really want to sort of wait for luck to sort of give you the cards you want, you can in theory go for some of the old ones. But assuming that, what do you do first? Well, you start out with the main story. You got one sort of bit there for each 7 classes. And for each then 7 classes, there's then 7 missions. The trick to them, though, is they actually grant you some good stuff. For example, in some cases, some pretty good things for the classes. I mean, some of this stuff, they're like card backs you don't need. Tickets for the arena is always good. But then there's also like more unique cards. You can't get outside here of actually some... in some cases, pretty good tempo evolves. But then gold... well, it's not so much. But again, gold, cards, tickets. Those kind of things are actually pretty good. And again, some of them are pretty vital for the classes, I would say. For example, well, it has become less important now, but for example, Floral Fencer for Swordcraft, a very good card. So just, playing through them tends to be a pretty good idea. You'll get sort of a lot of arena tickets for the game, which tends to be sort of a very good way of starting out as well. Actually going to the arena. We can then use the tickets here for it. And of course, you might say, well, I don't actually like playing in the arena. What can I do? Well, usually you can then sort of just pick the cards and then just... well, in this case, not here, but you just press that little button called quit, and it just sort of, skips through the entire process, just gives you the card pack. I mean, obviously, I'd recommend you playing through. That way you get some card packs. Usually it'll be like standard card packs, which is also what you want sort of just to start out with, since a lot of the core cards are in the standard pack. So generally you want to start out with those anyways, though if anything is like last time, this sort of before Rise of Bahamut, they'll sort of at some point basically sort of begin offering Rise of Bahamut cards in the arena for a brief period of time. They did that with Darkness of War before Rise of Bahamut, so there's a potential for that also happening here before the next expansion, which I have absolutely no idea what's going to be called. It might as well be, Rise of the Rice Cooker or something like that. So that's sort of... but again, going for the arena tends to be a pretty good investment. In particular, sort of do it even half competently, you'll usually get a nice amount of gold, plus card packs, and if you next get 5 wins, you might even get 2 card packs per win, and plus a lot of gold. So it tends to be a pretty easy way of just gaining a lot of card packs. So that's, for example, one way there. And of course, just doing missions, that is, playing the game. They generally tend to reward you quite well with gold, which you can use for card packs. There's also, of course, missions that give you card packs. You got the achievements, which in many cases initially offer you card packs. Then, of course, later on they'll offer you a lot of gold, which can then, of course, be used for it. In fact, if you sort of defeat all of the AIs on elite difficulty, you can, for example, just gain 1,400 gold just on that. So that tends to be pretty good. And then, of course, finally you have the score rewards, which also offer you card packs of the expansion. And the sort of regular card packs there, though generally sort of, that's by the way I should rank up, though the tends to be sort of easiest in the beginning. As you sort of hit a certain point, though, the rewards sort of become incrementally harder to get. But generally, there's also a lot there to be gained. So just, for that matter, do the single player bit, do the arenas, play a bit of ranked, and you'll generally sort of quickly gain a lot of card packs. Further on, the developers tend to, for different reasons, give us some card packs here and there. For example, recently there was a survey. Sign up for that one. You get some card packs. There might be something happening. Card packs. Maintenance went wrong. Card packs. Further on, with each expansion, they tend to give you 10 card packs as well. In some cases 15, because maintenance went wrong during the expansion. So in that regard, it's not too difficult to get card packs, but I would recommend you at the moment to start out with standard, and then, sort of get whatever you can there from Rise of Bahamut, sort of slowly but surely. Darkness of War you can go for, but it's not, I'd say, a high priority. A lot of the Darkness of War cards, unless it's a very specific deck, I don't think tend to see a lot of usage. At least it can depend from class to class. And you might ask further and ask, well, when does the next expansion happen? Well, last expansion was December 29th, which, by the way, was my birthday, so that's sort of a fun one. Generally, they don't release anything on my birthday, so to have an expansion for a game I actually play, it was a novel experience, to put it mildly. But generally, every 3 months is pretty much sort of the standard pattern there, which basically means, roughly, you want to sort of begin going around the start of March, where they'll be announcing it. You can begin saving up there, I think, so maybe at that point you'll have a decent collection of cards, and then you can sort of save up for the next expansion, do some missions, so on there, sort of have a nice lump of gold. Maybe 2,000 to 3,000 gold, which will buy you more than enough card packs in most cases, plus you'll get they'll be offering for free, so you'll generally very quickly then have a sort of nice, decent sort of a pack of cards. But again, every 3 months, at the end of sort of the third month there, they release it, so... And I do, by the way, plan on sort of covering the cards for this announced. I won't, I think, do any reviews of it, because it's way too easy just to say, oh, well, this card is bad, this card is amazing, and then, of course, you actually get to see the full concept of the cards, and you suddenly kind of go, oh, well, plus you then actually get to try them in the fight, and then, of course, you can further go, oh. So in that regard, I might sort of further just contemplate where they could fit in, but I'm not going to say, unless some really extreme cases, you know, this card is bad, this card is good, because, for example, this card, a lot of people said were bad, and, well, turned out to be not that bad, for example. Of course, this one pretty much all was spot on with being pretty good. So those are some things there to sort of consider, and overall, again, just play the game, really. But again, you want standard card packs, Rise of Bahamut, Darkness of All, just... It doesn't really have a lot there at the moment, as such, I think. Again, some decks don't prefer it more than others, but it's just, for most decks, it does, I think, tend to factor in a lot. And even then, you can mostly, you know, get a lot of spare vials from dusting all the extras, and then, you know, use them to buy whatever Darkness of All cards you need in most cases. So, it tends not to be, I would say, a high priority there. But I think that sort of covers a lot of sort of, you know, helpful stuff for newcomers, sort of how you need to get their decks going, you know, get a collection going more specifically. As for you can go looking for them, there tends to be sort of various sources. I'd possibly recommend some of the official forums. There's a guy there who's collecting a bunch. As for English sites, they tend to sort of be a bit out of date, so they might not sort of get the latest stuff, anything interesting. There's a bunch of Japanese sites, but obviously that's not going to be easy for everyone to read into, and even with Google Translate it can be a bit difficult at times what they're going on about. Cooking Witch? Half-Baked Royal, or whatever, it's because Google Translate is just complete, you know, wonk, so those are some things there to keep in mind as one we sort of go looking through that. But otherwise, for the early stages, just, you know, put together a deck with a decent curve, I would say. Unless you're intending to play control, but then again, an early control deck tends to be pretty difficult. But again, just sort of a half-decent deck. I mean, one, for example, here is just easy to put together. For example, is Aggro Blood. Very popular, very reasonably easy to popular, and of course quite potent. And it's, I believe, also quite, you know, cheap. It's got some golds. That's basically the two there, and then mostly silver and bronze and some free cards. So it's not exactly expensive to put together. It's very potent. For example, it's a very easy, for example, way for you to get into the game as well, unless you really don't like playing aggro. So, but you know, it's a thought there at least. It's a thought there, just sort of help people get into it. In theory, my deck is also pretty easy sort of to put together. It's got a few legendaries though, basically Albert. I use 2 of them. And otherwise, it's bronze and silver. I don't even have any golds, actually, when I look at it. And most of them are, well, standard collection cards, to be honest. I got a few there from Darkness of Old, and then it's this actually from Rise of Bahamut. The rest is pretty much standard all the way, and a bunch of them are free cards, like that one, that one, that one, that one. So, it's not exactly an expensive deck to put together either, I would say. So, I mean, if you're sort of looking for it, I could also recommend this one, though obviously it might not be for everyone. So, those are sort of some decks you can quickly put together. Otherwise, just Google Aggro Swordcraft or some other things there, because aggro tends to be the easiest, cheapest, because, well, it's straight in their face. It tends not to run a lot of the bigger, expensive cards, just with a lot of the cheaper, smaller things to sort of just go aggressively in. So I sort of think that sort of covers, you know, of things there. I think for the next video I'll be talking about specific deck types like, you know, aggro, control, combo, mid-range and so on, then sort of trying to go into what makes those different kinds of deck tick, what they're countered by, what they're good against, and, you know, sort of how you can do them. But for now, let's get some battles done. Off here, onto the lava stage, and we got Bloodcraft. I don't want too many 1-drops here. I think I'll stick to this one since I'm expecting I'll be playing a lot more actually and trading a lot more. He can only do it once, whereas that one can do it like more than once. Well, got 2 1-drops. Not my favourite situation, but could possibly work something out with it. But I'm assuming this is going to be aggro. Alright, we got Fervent Soldier, Oathless Knight. Let's see what he does next. Racery Claw. This is aggro, alright. I think I will play this one. Plan now is to try and aim for an Enraged General on turn 4. Not impossible. So there we go. We hold soul swing him so we don't trigger his Clash ability, which would just summon more bats. And we don't like bats. We do not like bats. He pops another one. Big full board of bats. Problem is, that's actually a bad idea because that means I don't have to worry about his ability to trigger more. But now, say hello to the Enraged General. Evolve him to trade into him. Again, since there's only room for 5 on the board, I can just... And that means, unless he's got a Dance of Death, which he very well could have, can't actually deal with that one right away, or he has to spend a lot of resources. And even then, using a Dance of Death on that means, well, I can do whatever I want. Or he has to, again, for example, call in the Blood Wolf, evolve that one. And there we go. The power of the Enraged General. 3rd episode, I can sort of really show it. Enraged General victories. And we're 5 points away from hitting A3. I'll probably hit something that ruins it. Back to the lava stage. Bloodcraft again! And again we got Quick Blader. Again, I'm not keen on that one. We got Monica, will be handy on turn 5. Pompous Princess on turn 3. Not too bad. Got another Vanguard. We'll see how that one turns out. I do kind of hope I get something better. That's definitely aggro. Ambling Wraith. Does 1 damage to each. Guess we'll go Maid Leader. I can use Albert there for ultra control measures. Who pops yours though? I'm a bit sad there on turn 3. Yeah! Furious. I really dislike that card. And he's pondering, should he try and trade with a Maid Leader? Should he just go for my face? Because he worries I might have something to just trade into his Urias with. At which point he won't be getting much out of that effect. There we go. Now I can play for that one, take 2 damage. Hope I get a Quick Blade, in which case I can trade all of this into the Urias. If I don't though, that's going to hurt a lot. But technically, you got him here, him there. I've got 1 Vanguard left in my deck and I got 3 Quick Bladers. The chance of pulling a Quick Blader is, well, versely 3 to 1? Something like that. I mean, it's a 25% chance of pulling a Vanguard, 75% chance of pulling a Quick Blade, in which case I can never pull him. I kill that bastard. So let's hope on it. Obviously did a lot of damage to my face there, but there you go. but he has been disarmed at quite a cost. He'll probably trade into the princess there to avoid me trading into his mate. And he's going to be the next problem. Guess I'll do it like that. Buff him up with a fencer. That does mean there'll be a bat left, but he can do at least 3 damage to my face. I just try and trade off more bats anyway, so best to try and set it off in a way that, you know, minimizes damage to my face. He'll probably roll that bat and attack my... No! He's actually trying to clear the board. Try and give him more room for his bats. That's a bit annoying, but... The problem is, in this case, I had to spend a lot of resources dealing with the Urius, which is a bit of a bother. And he's still got more cards than me, because he was able to get some efficient trades out of that. That kind of sucks, but oh well. Interesting. All of a sudden he's spending a lot of resources trying to deal with me. I got a bit of damage. In this case I didn't evolve him in case he had Demonic Storm, in which case I can just clear my board, deal damage to me as well. At which point there's not really much point in, so you know. Yup, evolving. Let's see if we can't get a naval lieutenant here. Got the Enraged general, which isn't half bad. And there pulled my last vanguard. Oh dear, if he has a razor thing, I'm dead. And by the way he's hesitating, I think he might have. This is where the naval lieutenant would have been great, because then I could just block off the assault with that. If he does know, I win. Oh. Well, I need 12 damage. That's 4. Plus 8, 10. No, I don't quite have it. Bit of a bother. But assuming... This is rather tricky. I don't really know what he's got there. Assuming though he hasn't killed me because he doesn't have the resources for it, so unless he top decks something, should be safe-ish. Question is, do I pop in Enraged General attack into that to go for Sage Commander? I mean, if he pulls a Demonic Storm, I'm dead either way, so it's the rest of the board. Pop this one, I think, because with this I can actually threaten Lethal next turn. What I won't do is actually attack him this turn, because with this I can kill him right then and there. But if again he's got another one of those Dark Generals in his hand, he can just attack with it because it gains Storm and enemies below a certain amount of health. Not grateful. Yeah. In this case, nothing can do. I was dead either way, unless I sort of traded in my entire board, but even that would have been pretty difficult. So yeah. There you go. That sort of highlights how difficult it would be to deal with aggro at certain times because it just got so much burn damage, as it's called, which basically means you can just cast a spell or something just to deal damage right away. That's called burn damage. Sort of terminology for those wondering. There you go. Bit of a loss. Bit of a loss. Alright, Swordcraft. Go second. Pop that one away. Keep the rest. Got a Vanguard. Means I got a first turn. That's good. That's great. The first trick will be to identify what the hell I'm playing against. That one can always be tricky. Never quite know. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm up against, aggro. Turns out mid-range, so it turns out to control. You can run a lot of the same cards. That's basically where the trick hits. See, he'll probably... If I'm unlucky, he's got a Novice Trooper or something. Yup. Which point he can just trade away the entire thing, or just do that. Bit annoying, to be honest. Right, we got this. I'll go for face, thus punishing him for not attacking, a bit more cleanly. I mean, he has to trade into that either way. Alright, that's either mid-range or aggro, otherwise they do not run Mentor's teachings. Unless they want to get in there and get ugly, so... With that, we just identify his game. First, pop this one. I want to see if we don't have something useful. Straight into that. That means I really want a Naval Lieutenant sometime in the near future. To mostly be able to absorb hits. I'm not entirely sure if he is full aggro over those mid-range. They tend to run a lot of the same cards to a certain point. Like that one, for example. So it could easily again be either way. But he's just been that one, meaning it's safe to play my range general. I think we'll be involving that one for extra damage. And then you can get 7 in there, bring him down to 7 health. And there we go. Enraged General wins the game. I mean, he's a pretty good card. If you can sort of get him off in the right time and the opponent does not have the counter, he can in many cases win you the match. And there you go, we hit A3. Finally, I've been stuck around there. Got tilted a bit and some misplays here and there. I mean, you got to sort of really keep in mind when you want to trade and when you just want to sort of hit face with tempo token sort. There's the deck here, and I tend to very much favor trading. The problem is, in the current meta game, trading too much is actually penalized because at a certain point you can just sort of win the game hard. So I sort of got to keep myself in mind, do I actually have to trade here? Do I actually have to trade here? So that's some things I really need to keep in mind when playing this deck, for example. But there we go. Few fights here, and finally got to sort of show off, I think, the power of sort of the Enraged General here. In this case, though, mostly because if they don't have the response, he tends to win you the match on the spot because he can just threaten so much damage so quickly. As you can see there, in this case, I was already doing 7 damage plus 6 next turn. If he did not have the exact response, he'd be dead. Hell, even if he had a good response for him, he could still be dead because I still have the rest of the board. So I think we'll be stopping here for today's episode. I think sort of 3 matches is sort of a nice sort of thing. Now, of course, if people want more matches, let me know. Might do another one here, just kind of figure out a moment. 3 matches sort of keeps a nice sort of bit of brevity there as well. But there you go. And off to the daily bonus screen. To get some gold. Sometime there before the card packs. Of course, that's another way of just getting card packs. Just playing on a daily basis, logging in and getting your bonus. Because there's also free card packs there of the standard kind. And yeah, got a team in there. In this case, I got an animated card. The glass card there. Sort of a, I guess, combo card you'd call it. You got Harness Flame, Harness Glass. if they're sort of at the same board, but at the start of a turn, they sort of become a thing called Flaming Glass, which does a ton of damage. Basically, you can pretty much win the game there. It tends to primarily be part of the sort of Runecraft related combo decks. But there you go, all for today's episode. I'll be back in another 2 days time to talk about different deck types a bit, and of course more tempo token swords. So thank you all, hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, subscribe, like, share and comment on it, and let me know if there's anything else you want me to talk about, if there's more questions about the game. This is Imperial Dane signing off. Cheers.